Hello, and today I'm going to be taking a look at the Action Man 1999 Polar Bike and Polar Bike Rider. So let's take a closer look and see what it actually came with. Okie dokie, we will start with the Bike Rider first of all. We pop him off, just like this. There we go. He does come off reasonably well. And all in all, I think this guy looks pretty mean, looks pretty great. He is a bit of a solid figure on the top, unfortunately, so his arms don't come out to the side. So other than actually using him on the bike, he's not going to have too much use. But he fits on so well with the bike, I don't think you'd actually take him off anyway. Then if we take a closer look at the helmet here, we have this like black visor on the top, which has the Action Man logo just there. That is painted on, the rest of the helmet's just white. But the detailing in here I think is great, if we can get that up close, just there. It does swivel, that's the only motion that you're going to get out of it. But another thing that you get with this is there is a hole in the back just there. Now this might be quite tricky to show you on camera, but then that comes down and there we go. You've got the Action Man face in there. I'll show you that from the front. The visor comes up and then we've got the Action Man face just there. I think that's supposed to be so that you can actually look through and see through the visor, but it's incredibly difficult because it's got the mirror like chrome effect on it. You can't actually see through it, so it's a little bit redundant really, but all in all it's a nice feature. I do like that goes up and down, so I'm not too fussed about being able to look through it because you can have it either way. The function works really well. It's a really satisfying click, makes a nice noise there. It's got a great spring in it. And then if we go on to his chest there, we've got this protective gear and the shoulder pads just there with the Action Man logo. It's moulded all really nicely. Even the moulded texture of his clothes is nice. We have like a belt buckle that's moulded on too. Flipping round and you can see the detailing on the back there. Just some extra protective gear. We get these elbow pads, some nice looking gloves on there. Obviously added articulation would have been nice, but all in all for a biker figure I think it works really well. My pants are a little bit loose. If we just pull these down, excuse me, he's got the rubber legs. I'll show you that with a couple of clicks in there rather than the other articulation. Then if we move down to the boots that we've got here, as you can see we've got some orange clips that go down this style of boot, that on the bottom and this style at the front there. So yeah, quite heavy duty boots that we've got going on in there. Sometimes they can look a little big and bulky, but because his trousers are quite big and obviously the top half of him is quite big as well, I think they work really well, obviously as winter boots. Then if we move on to the Polar Bike itself, let's bring that a little bit closer. We have these wheels here. These are rubber wheels again, with the chains and the spikes moulded into it, and I don't know if they're moulded in black or moulded in grey. Yeah, so they're moulded in, oh, it's quite difficult to say. They're moulded in grey, and then they've got the black paint on for the wheels, but that's a good sign if it's hard to tell, because the paint application is just perfectly crisp. A lot of things that modern figures don't seem to get right, so yeah, very happy with that. We've got this like random spike at the bottom. I have no idea what that's for. We have the brake discs on there, obviously the hard plastic in the middle. And then we've got these textures here for the snow. I think this is one of the things that kind of lets it down, the ice marks that are on there. They just don't quite look right. There's something off about them. It's just like really big white chunky bits, and I'm not too keen on. But yeah, it's still all in all, it looks pretty good. Then we've got this pale bluey green going around the side. Obviously you can see parts of the engine through here. So yeah, paint application through here was really good as well. Obviously some of mine has started wearing down due to where it's located. We've got this orange spring here for the suspension that is moulded in orange. And this orange at the front is actually painted. As we come down to the front, obviously we've got a vent air intake there. Then we've got an Action Man logo on the tank itself. More paint application on the seat. I think that's done really well. Then if I show you this, we've actually got moulded dials rather than having stickers on this, which is a nice touch. Lots of them as well, all included. He grips onto these handles really well. Then obviously we've got the brake levers and this little one on the side. Then we come to the front, we've got a plastic mud guard. Obviously we've got the projectile, which I'll show you in a minute. More paint application on the front here. And then flip it round just to see if it's any different on the side. Looks pretty much identical, except we've got the exhaust going up there. We've got the chain again, which is that is Is that moulded? Yeah, that's moulded in that colour, and this one's obviously part of this frame as well. And another little bit there, that's for holding an additional missile. I only have the one with my set, unfortunately. And then we have this foot plate here for putting the Action Man's feet in, and the idea of that is that he's got ice and everything building up on his feet, which just makes it look a little bit odd. It looks like he's got weird boots on. That can tip up and that creates a stand. Sorry, you can't see that there. That tips up and it does create a stand, so you can have the bike just resting. It just looks a little bit odd as it is. But yeah, we've even got detailing all the way through this. And then, quite well concealed, we have this button on the side here, and that is to launch the missile. So if you just press that, pew, it has got a pretty naff spring in mine. Whether they're all the same, I'm not too sure. But yeah, it travels about 10 inches at most. So this functions pretty well. I mean, the firing mechanism's not so great, but yeah, when the biker's on it, he holds it really well, fits on it really nicely. He can be fitted on easily. He says this, and then it's always normally a challenge. No, he popped in straight there, and then obviously the handlebars, just clip him on, just like that. And yeah, I think he fits in with it really, really well. The blue on the rider and obviously the blue of the bike aren't actually supposed to be the same colour. It's not faded over time. He actually did come a little bit lighter, but yeah, it's quite solid. So that was the Action Man 1999 Polar Bike and Polar Bike Rider. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time for more Rawpain reviews.